future. There we go. It's official. So this service will be available to you going into the future, and also feel free to let your colleagues know who couldn't be here today that this service is available to them. You are welcome here, whatever brought you here today. If you are here to grieve the loss of patients or colleagues, you are welcome here. If you are mourning the death of family or friends, you haven't had the space or the support to grieve because of being with patients or because of the isolation of pandemic, you are welcome here. If you are here to mark the mounting communal grief of just living in a global pandemic, you are welcome here. If you are grieving a loss of faith in leadership, disappointment in missteps, confusion, or a feeling of abandonment, you are welcome here. If you are feeling guilty today for surviving, you're welcome here. If you are lamenting being with patients who died, but not being able to draw close to them in the way you would have liked to as they passed, you are welcome here. All parts of you and all of these experiences are welcome today. And I'd like to invite now Dr. Mary DeMay, the chair of our board, to share some thoughts with us.
Good afternoon. I'm Mary DeMay. I'm a physician at UCSF and the board chair of the Bay Area Jewish Healing Center. I wanted to just share a reflection with all of you today. Terror, lack of protection, lack of protective equipment, no masks, mask, double mask, still mask, guidance. I didn't go into it for this. Hineni, here I am. Impotence, hallways barely passable for bodies. We've not seen anything like this before. Wash your hands, but try not to touch. Wash your hands. Loss, grief, so many we cannot save. Can we help those who were saved? Breath, breathe, masked and shielded and intubated and isolated. Could anyone breathe? iPhone goodbyes, terror in the eyes, video funerals, terror. Hineni, here we are now, gathered to reflect, to grieve, to miss, to smile, to ache, to relive, to cry, to pray, to hope, to remember, to find the new in us. Thank you.
Haida, haida, haidiri, daida, haida, 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 haidiri, daida, haida, haida, haida. Haida, haidiri, daida, haida, 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 haidiri, daida, haida, haida, haida. Bruchim Habaim, we bless each and every one of you as you gather with us in this moment of reflection. We'd like to invite you to take a breath. Don't force it. Let that breath be whatever it is in this moment. And then as you can, to let that breath go, to exhale. If it helps to imagine, perhaps imagine that this breath is the same breath that God breathes into the first person in the Garden of Eden. That each breath has life, whatever life it has, wherever it is now, in this moment, for you. And to just let it go, whatever it is. And we invite you to take this moment as you can, wherever it is, whatever it is, with some ease, perhaps some rumbling, but that whatever your breath is, to just let it be. And to take a breath in, again, whatever that breath is. Another exhale, in and out. And with the ease of breath, whatever it is, to let yourself, however be you are in this moment now, perhaps just to settle a bit, to take another breath, another exhale, and see if this next breath in this moment is different than the one before. If this exhale is different than the one before, to let each moment, one after the other, be whatever it is. A breath in, a breath out. A breath in, a breath out. A breath of whatever is in this moment in, a breath of whatever this moment out. To simply be who you are now in this moment. One breath in, one breath out. One breath in, one breath out. To be however you are at each breath. We light this candle for those we know, for those that we know of, and for those we do not know.
We are turning our thoughts now to honor healthcare workers who have died in the pandemic. Doctors, nurses, X-ray technicians, CNAs, chaplains, recreation workers, environmental services, and so many more. All of these lives are holy and missed. We are about to view a slideshow of healthcare workers who died from COVID-19. If there are colleagues you are grieving who died of COVID or who died during the pandemic and have not been fully mourned, you are invited to add their names and anything else you would like to share about them, maybe your relationship to them or their roles, to the chat box as we view their images, please do so.
Let's take a moment, a breath of quiet. In a moment, we'll be reading a responsive reading together. And while you remain muted, I will invite you to read aloud along with me. And you can feel free to name your person or the people who have died in the place of the word them. We remember them. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them.
We come now to recite the Kaddish, the central Jewish mourner's prayer that never mentions dying. These words are said by Jews across thousands of years and around the globe. As we come together as a virtual community and recite these well-worn and well-loved phrases today, the people we are grieving for are entering into this ancient chain of memory. So please join me in whatever way makes sense for you today. Yit Gadal, Vayit Kadash, Shemay Rabbah, Be'alma Divra Hirute, Vayimlich Malchute, V'hayechon Uvyomechon, Uvchaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagala Uvizman Kariv, Vimru, Amen. Yehesh me Rabba Mevorach Le'alam Olmei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalei v'yitalal shmei dekudsha brihu la'ela min kol birata v'shirata tushbachata v'nehamata damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'ase shalom aleinu, vel kol Yisrael, vel kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace, shalom, bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all who mourn. And let us say, Amen. So we're going to take a moment before we close today to say goodbye to each other. So I'd like to invite you to unmute for a moment. And you can place a hand somewhere comfortable on your body. For me, I like to put a hand on my chest. And another hand out towards the screen where we can see you. and just unmute for a moment. And we're going to just, in a kind of joyful cacophony or solemn cacophony, whatever you're feeling, say goodbye, shalom aleichem, to one another. Shalom.
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 Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Toda Rabbah.
Shalom.
Shalom. Peace.
Shalom. Blessings.
And grace.
And strength.
So Rabbi Eric Weiss is going to lead us now. We will keep the rest of us muted other than Rabbi Eric, but we will keep the chat open and feel free to keep offering each other words or greetings as we close today.
Thank you, Rabbi Kukla, and thank you all for being with us. And thank you, Dr. DeMay and Abra Greenspan. We'd like to invite you just to take another breath, however it is. Perhaps close your eyes or put them into soft focus. Yivarechechem Adonai v'yishmerechem. Ya'er Adonai panav elechem v'chunechem. Yisa Adonai panav elechem v'yasem lechem shalom. May God bless you and protect you always. May God's face shine upon you, and may this light and this warmth be gracious to you. And may God's face ever be lifted up toward you. And may this divine regard, this holy attention, grant you the most sacred of all divine gifts: peace, wholeness, shalom. Amen. Thank you all so much for being with us.